Welcome to the Studio Chat podcast. My name is Barbara Thompson. Each week I'll be bringing you a self-care expert or a message to help you to discover how to live your best life and understand your mind-body connection. Thanks for spending some time with me today. Now, let the Studio Chat begin. In today's episode of Studio Chat, I have such a fun, great chat with Mike. Mike is a mentor and transformation coach, and he helps time-poor people lose weight and become their authentic selves. We had a really good laugh as well, and we shared stories along the way. We spoke about changing careers, a little bit about Mike's story and what he, where he's been and what he does today. While we all know what to do, but we just don't do it, it's okay to ask for help. We talk about fear, mindset, nutrition, and how to start a transformation if that's what we want to do. So join us on this episode. I know you're going to love it. We have a good laugh. We talk about a lot of things, and I hope you enjoy it. Welcome to this episode of Studio Chat, guys. I'm really excited to have Mike joining me on this podcast today. Welcome, Mike.
Thank you. It's great to finally chat to you in person.
Yeah, we've spoken a bit over Instagram, and it's so nice to have you as a guest on my podcast today.
It's an absolute pleasure.
So before we dive into things, I'd love for people to know, so I know some of my audience know you and some of them don't. Would you better let them know a little bit about yourself, who you are and what you do?
Yeah, so I'm Mike Ilias. I'm 43 years young. I don't look it. Apparently I'm George Clooney's love child. I've been married for nearly 20 years in September to an absolute gem of a woman. I have three young men, 15, 13 and 9. I'm a health and wellness coach, a mentor. That's basically, I left my job of 17 to 20 years in construction to pursue something that really makes me happy. So that's me in a nutshell.
Wow, that's amazing. Well, congratulations on your wedding anniversary this year too.
Yeah. Thank you.
That's awesome.
I made it.
Yeah. And I think that's a really great message. Even that's not what we're even going to talk about today, but after such a long time being in a profession and being in construction, and you could have quite easily been in there for another 20 years, I can imagine.
Definitely.
Building up that time, you would have been really good at what you did. You would have known everyone, known everything off the back of your hand, and there would have been a lot of comfort in that. You went out of your comfort zone and was like, actually, I'm not happy and I want to do something that I'm passionate about.
Yeah, that's 100%. It's probably, a lot of people say, or a lot of people have said, it's a bit late in life to take a risk like that. But I've always kind of lived on the edge. I was comfortable, and it was a family business, and it was a lot of opportunity, I guess, for future. But when it's not you, it's not you. So there's no point in sitting on something that doesn't share your values in life. And I'm a firm believer in every decision I make is sort of has to be in line with my values. If it doesn't, it's really an easy decision to say no. So this came up as an opportunity with something that I was working in behind the scenes for a while for part-time, and I just ran with it because it was dear to my heart. Helping humans become better versions of themselves is something that you could obviously understand wholeheartedly. It's an amazing feeling. And once I sort of got further into it and found the joy, it just made life so much more better for me personally. So yeah, it was an easy decision at the end of the day to follow something that's close to your heart. But it was very difficult in the terms of it was, a lot of family stuff involved. So it doesn't make it easy, but I don't regret it. I don't have any regrets. I think it's something that was, wholeheartedly benefited me in so many ways. So.
So interesting, because I know a lot of people listening, a lot of us live our lives for other people. So a lot of us will put our lives on hold for family, or do the thing because that's what's expected of us, or that's what our family want, or what our friends want, or what we think society wants for us. And that's such a cool thing that you've shared with us today, because it shows no matter what age, and you're around my age, so we're still young.
Yeah, we are.
That you can change anything. And I've had a career change too. And it's just, I think a little bit in there, was it about backing yourself? Did you kind of think, this is really uncomfortable. I'm really scared, but I'm just going to go for it.
Yeah, of course. I'm still scared now. It's it's just we're humans. It happens that way. But for me, it was and I call it the masks of expectation. Like everybody, like especially in something like that, whether it's a family business, you're expected to have a role and take over and do things like that. So to take that mask of expectation off, it may just me, obviously be my authentic self. And that's something that I've never really embraced because I've always been the underdog. I've always been behind the eight ball. I've always been the one that sort of, was last picked in the teams because for whatever reason, I grew up in housing commission and it was a tough time growing up. It's, you battle every day. I went to, difficult schools and learned a lot of things about myself personally. I got bullied from, I think it was year 6 to year 12. It was like the most horrible time of my life. So, to have all that behind you and to come out, who I am now. I mean, obviously that groomed me for who I am, and I don't discourage all that negativity that happened in my life, but I've changed it to something that's obviously benefited myself and other people that vibe off me. So it's really cool.
It was really cool. But I know in those times where you do get bullied or especially around those ages, it feels like it's your whole world and you just think there's no way out.
Yeah, you do. And I was very lucky that I had some really awesome teachers at high school that knew it was happening, were able to shield me from a lot of things and push me to my potential. I still see them guys to this day. That's good old Mr. Brown and Mr. Kemp, my woodwork and metalwork teacher. So just, beautiful humans. Like to have those guys go out of their way to just to make sure that you could live up to some sort of potential. It was, it's beautiful and humbling as well at the same time.
Aren't teachers amazing? I want to shout out to some teachers today because I was the same. I loved school. I wasn't a nerd, but I just loved the social aspect of school. I loved all the subjects. I loved all the sports. I always was the teacher's pet, but now being in my 40s, I know why I was the teacher's pet is because I had no love at home. I didn't have loving parents. And I think these teachers looked at me from primary school right to college going, oh, here's this poor girl. She looks so like I would have just looked like a deer in headlights. Like, can someone love me? And I literally think, I was a teacher's pet. I even would have teachers do my homework for me. I'd even have teachers go, look, guys, we'll use Barbara as an example. And I'm like, oh, why does it always have to be Barbara? And because I was terrible at art, I can't draw. And they'd like, okay, well, this is what we're going to do. And I remember one lady doing this whole project for me and then just giving me a wink. And I was like, why am I singled out? Why? It was nice being the teacher's pet, but I got a lot of stick for it. But I still remember, especially my high school teachers, there's a couple of teachers that I was away, I was sick once, and one of my geography teachers, I used to like write my headings in red pen, she used to dictate to us. This is back in the day when we had to write. We didn't have computers or iPads and stuff. I had to write my text in blue pen, and I don't know, it was just the way I would study. And my high school teacher, when I was away, would only do it for me, would actually write my notes out. And she'd actually say to the class, oh, hang on, class, got to do the red pen for the heading because Barbara will kill me. And everyone's like, oh, my God. But those teachers, there's a couple there, my geography teacher and my English teacher, I still remember them, and they change your life.
Yeah.
In my 40s, I'll remember them till I'm not here anymore. What such incredible humans, eh?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, wifey's a teacher as well. She's been doing it for nearly 20 years herself. And, I just see the joy and satisfaction she gets out of her children and the response the parents give her and, the smile on her face. It's not an easy job. I think for me, I definitely could not be a teacher. I I don't know whether it's just kids and frustration, probably too easy, but it's a tough gig and they definitely should be paid more, and they definitely need more respect for it. That's for sure.
They change your life. If you have a good teacher, you remember them, and they've been a pinnacle point in your life where you could go one way, you could go the other, and they've changed your life.
Yeah, well, wifey's motto, I think she always said, was to teach is to touch a life, and that's it's a beautiful saying in itself. And if you get one that can latch onto you and make a difference in your life, it definitely sets you up for future growth. That's for sure.
I know. Even at the
Mm.
time, you don't like them and you hate them and you think, oh my gosh, they're actually most of the time trying to get the best out of you. So,
Yeah, definitely.
oh, well, that was a nice segue. That was interesting
Pretty
to talk
good.
about. Yeah. Now, one of the things I want to talk to you about today was all of us, when we think health, fitness, lifestyle, everyone kind of knows what to do, but we don't do it.
Yep.
And it's kind of a famous, a lot of people do say that who work in this space, that why something so easy becomes so hard.
Um, I think it's that word, the four-letter word starting with F, and it's not the one everyone's thinking about. It's fear, to be honest. I mean, happiness, and to be happier and to be healthier is growth, right? So we all know exactly what we need to be doing in our lives, with our lives, and despite knowing all this, we just don't act on it. And for whatever reason, most of the time it comes down to fear, and it's pretty sad. Um, to have hopes and dreams, goals, aspirations, to cut your leg straight from under you because of that word fear. So I guess like our lives are mapped out. We in sort of this way. We have a goal, right? We all have a goal. We sit there. We do our yearly goals. You probably do the same, but we don't sit there and break them down into areas of things that we can actually attain to. We always think of 1,000 reasons why we can't do it. That's the first thing we do. We put the goal down and we go, okay, why can't I do this? And then you sit there after you write them all down, you stress about it, you look over them again, you probably make another 1,000 more, and you stress out it even more. And then after that, you think about what others are going to say. You go, what are they going to do? What criticism am I going to get because I want to do this goal? And you get so exhausted, and then you stop, and then you go back to doing the menial tasks in life that you shouldn't be doing to attain those goals. So it's tough, mate. It's a big step, and I think we said before, it's getting into the uncomfortable zone, being comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Yeah, and there's a couple of words as you were talking that I've jotted down. One of them that I hear all the time is, "Oh, it's too hard."
Mm.
And you can look at it, I think you're the same mindset as me. It's hard, but it's hard being unhappy. It's hard feeling unhealthy. It's hard not sleeping. It's hard not being able to move your body properly. It's hard when you go to the doctors and get a diagnosis. It's hard, but it's hard learning to find your way, because what works for someone may not work for you. It is a bit of a process. It is a bit of a journey, and to find what works for you. But it's hard regardless, I think. And I think once you are honest with yourself, and then have the other word it's 3 words I wrote down. The other word I wrote down is non-negotiables. Because I think, how you talked about goals and stuff, and when you set yourself goals, you can, especially when it comes to how we look, how we feel, how we move our bodies, we all have a little voice in our head that has already told us we can't do it. So guess what? We're not going to be able to do it. We will find any way. We will self-sabotage. We will find any way out, even when we don't realize we're doing it.
Exactly.
To prove to us we're not enough, you're not good enough. See, you can't do that.
Yeah, we worry about what others are going to say, but we don't sit there and worry about what we're saying to ourselves.
Correct. Yeah.
It's horrible. And like, going back to what you just said, it's Coach Nikki, who works with us, she introduced me to the saying. It was like what you just said. There's that type of hard, and there's this type of hard, which is the good hard and the bad hard. So which hard do you choose?
Yeah.
Choose your hard.
Yeah, it's hard. Yeah, it's hard. Life is tough.
So do the things that are going to benefit you in the long run, which are hard, and give you a positive outcome, or sit there and stress about the things you didn't do, which are even harder, and you get no outcome. It's quite an easy decision, but have to have the mindset to do it.
Guess what was my 3rd word that I wrote down? I could even show you my bit of paper here.
I believe you.
Hard, non-negotiables, and mindset. And mindset was a new thing for me that I've only discovered, I don't know, in the last 5 years.
So can I cut you off there? Did you discover it, or did something make you discover it?
Something made me discover it.
Cool. Oh, good. I like that.
Yeah. It was an anxiety and panic attacks and stuff that I was like, huh. So I was someone that when I used to train, and I guess it was how I would grow and how I would be able to do my sport of bodybuilding and stuff, was I switch off.
Mm.
So when I train, I go into a place where I'm not in this planet, I'm not in this world, and someone says 10 more and I just do the 10 more, or I do
Yeah.
20 more, and and it's dangerous because my mind isn't connected to my body. And luckily, touch wood, I haven't injured myself, but it served me a purpose at the time where I could just switch off, knuckle down and go. But
Mm.
with age comes your ego can settle down a little bit, right?
Yeah, yeah, you got to park him out the door, that's for sure.
I have a healthy ego. Well, I did have a really big ego. Now it's settled down a little bit, but it was just like, yeah, I can do this. Like my body didn't matter. I just had to do it. And mindset was something that I was like, that's the bigger picture, because people don't realize you can look a certain way. If that's all your goal, and most of us are, come on, it's just how we're wired, how media is built around that. We all, from the day we're born and whatever our eyeballs see, it's all marketed, it's all driven to a certain look and to a certain way.
Yeah,
Even
correct.
if we're not around it, we somehow pick it up. And so if it's driven about how we look, the thing is, like I say this often in my podcast and in my work with my clients, I could give that to you tomorrow. You show me what you want to look like. Imagine if you woke up looking like that tomorrow, guarantee you wouldn't be happier. Guarantee you wouldn't physically see it in the mirror. And that's my part of my journey too, is that was how I discovered mindset. I was like, I've got everything I wanted, but I didn't know I had it, and I can't see it. I could see it 5 years later looking back, but I know the headspace I was in right then.
Yeah.
And my mindset wasn't a thing. Had no idea what it was. I kind of knew what mindfulness was, but I thought it was a bit of a woo-woo, to be honest. Like, oh my God, what muppet. Now I'm working in it.
Yeah, that's it.
But I used to think, oh, for God's sake, I was very old school with my training, with my nutrition. Very, like 80s, 90s thought,
Yeah.
just push it through and get it done and shut
Chicken,
up.
rice, and broccoli, that's it.
Pretty
Exactly
much.
right.
Yeah. So mindset, is a really big one too. Is there anything else you want to share about mindset?
Yeah, so I'll share with you and get a bit of vulnerable about why I changed my mindset, and it happened to do with depression and anxiety. For me, was when our first child was born. I went into a big spiral of depression because I didn't have like the best father figure in my life with my dad. He wasn't around too much, and wasn't the best dad in the world. So I had this fear, I guess, when I had a child, that I was going to turn into something like that, and I didn't want that to happen. It didn't happen, which was great, but it still attacked me from the inside. So I suffered severely because of that. And I didn't enjoy the first probably 5 years of all my kids' life, I guess, more than anything, because I had that fear, and it was horrible. And once I fessed up to myself and got help, and learnt that there are ways of changing the way you look and how you think and what you do. And I was able to work on that. And I had a decent psych after a couple of visits to others that probably didn't fit my vibe. But once you find someone that can lead you down the right path, it makes everything clearer. So for me, that was probably the catalyst of how I fell into changing my mindset. And I also had my best mate from primary school who changed his life around. He was a driving force of me. He knew my potential, and I just didn't know it because I'd always been this failure. I've always been told I was useless, I was nothing. So I was always going to be like that. But he always knew I had it in me, and he pushed me every day, and we still talk every day. So it's really cool to have people like that in your life as well.
How cool is that though, Mike? Thank you so much for being vulnerable and sharing that, because I know it'll help people.
Yeah, definitely.
And I was the same. I didn't have a good father figure in my life. And it's so interesting that no matter how much work you do on yourself and how many psychologists you see and whatever, those first 7 years of your life and all those words that your parents say to you stick with you, and I had a father that was just the most awful person in the world. And for a young girl and the firstborn to be, what girls are like with their dads, And I'm the same, as that's why I do what I do, is I make sure that any teen girl, any woman I don't ever want them to feel the way I felt. It is just awful. And I think it takes a special someone you and I could easily have just stayed there.
Yeah.
Quite easily, and covered it up, and no one would have known.
Yeah, correct.
And I think when it gets to that point where it's so dark and you just think, I can't do this anymore. And I think that's when you see a lot of people, and that's when I see a lot of people, is people reach out to me in that point of crisis where something bad happens, or something repeatedly happens over time, and they're so brave and have a lot of courage to put the hand up and go, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah, definitely. I was like listening to your recent podcast with is it Carly?
Carly,
yeah. I mean, the courage in coming out and saying all that stuff was, it's unbelievable. But I love the fact that she's owning it, and it's not putting it down on her life and pushing her backwards. It's something that she's working on building and moving forward. So it's beautiful. And the one thing that kind of triggered me when I was learning about myself was my cyclist told me this saying, and it was, be the person you needed when you were younger. And from that day on, I have been, I treat my clients and as I'm like a father figure to them, and that's what I needed. So I share that now and guide them and hopefully nurture them and comfort them and be that little, tap on the shoulder, you're doing a great job, or nuzzle into my armpit and tell you that you're doing okay. Everything's going to be okay. It's okay to be upset and feel all those feelings. So yeah, once I was told that was mind blowing.
We don't need much, do we? We actually just need someone to, hey, good job. Hey, you're doing well today. Love you. It's really not much. There's no money exchange. It's saying you'll be there for someone when they need you, and no judgment. And it's tough, and it breaks my heart when I see little kids. And you can actually, I don't know about you, when I'm driving around, and if I'm driving past a school, when a school comes out, across the crossing when all the kids flood out of school, and I can just see it, I can point out the kids that aren't doing so well.
Yeah, head down, kicking the rocks. Yep.
Breaks my heart, because I literally want to go, come on, let's hang out. And it's like, you can't do that anymore because you'll be the creep that's hanging out in the school.
You don't drive around in a white van, do you? No. Secrets out.
Yeah, no, don't tell anyone. No. So another question that I've got for you today is, people are just so weight focused, and they're like always, that's the main reason why they ask for help, but it isn't always, there's other reasons under that. But what is your perspective on losing weight? How do we lose weight?
Oh, the first thing I'm going to say is sometimes the weight that you need to lose is not on your body. So it starts with your mind. It starts with, to me, like 80% of any transformation is in the mindset. Okay. Like we talk about, everybody wants a better body. Everyone wants to look a certain way. Definition of comfort is everybody's own opinion. For me, I don't have a six-pack. I don't want a six-pack. I look great. I feel great. I'm healthy. I'm an endurance athlete. So I run, long distances, and I cycle long distances, and I eat 3,400 calories a day, and I'm maintaining it. I'm stable. I feel great. That's, to me, is the definition of my happiness. But yeah, for me, it starts with the right mindset and finding your why. Why do you want to lose weight? Why do you want to do a transformation?
Yeah, exactly. But it's not, we're hardwired to want a quick way. We're hardwired to, look what everyone else is doing, they can do it quickly. And that's where I find social media is great. But at the moment, I find it really disturbing to see on, I just go on TikTok to have a look, because I've got a lot of young clients. So I jump on TikTok just to see what everyone's posting. It really, really is hard for me to go, oh my God, this is what I've got. This is what I'm eating on a plate. And I've never even in my athlete days, never worked on calorie base. Because it does numbers, especially with females. what scales, weight, numbers, especially when you're built a certain way. So I'm a heavier build, and numbers are not my friend, because they just from a teenage years, it was just like, why am I a size? Why am I this size? Why can't I be this size? Why can't I be this number? And
Mm.
our bodies are built a certain way. Yes, you can
Yeah.
biohack them.
Yeah.
Yes, you can change them. Genetics don't define you, but it is your foundation point, right?
Correct. Yeah.
And I do
Definitely.
find, yeah, people are flooding their minds with all this social media stuff that one week, I'll try this. I follow this person on TikTok or Instagram. I'm going to follow this. Then it gets too hard. Then they go, oh, I'm a failure. I can't do it. Then they have a month off. Then they go, okay, what's the next best thing?
Yeah. There's no consistency. And when you've got a wealth of information at your fingertips on some dodgy platforms with some real dodgy trainers, nutritionists, life coaches that are, I don't know what their science comes from or where they back it from, but and there's a good couple of guys out there on Instagram and that are taking the piss out of these guys too, which is really cool. And I wish I had the balls to be able to do it myself, but that's not the type of person I am. But the simple thing with losing weight, if that's what we're going to focus on this question, is it's got to be a calorie deficit. That's really the only way to lose weight. Okay, you can run as much as you want, you can cycle as much as you want, you can do 1,000 HIIT classes, your body will adapt to it. But if you're eating less calories than you're burning per day, you will lose weight. And you can do it without having to go to the gym or walk or whatever else. I mean, it does help, but sitting still and but every human burns around 2,200 to 2,400 calories a day stagnant. So if you reduce the calories, you're going to lose weight. If that's what we talk about, losing weight. But for me, it's mindset. It's having the brain capacity to turn those negatives into a positive, to get off your ass on those rainy days and get out and walk when you shouldn't be walking, to look at that bag of chips and put it back in the cupboard and go get an apple or something that's going to be a lot more nutritious and beneficial to your to the goals that you want to achieve.
Yeah. Yeah. And for me, my perspective of losing weight and stuff, yes, I do agree. Obviously, calorie deficit is the baseline of all weight loss. But for me, especially with females, and as we get older, and I just did a course the last couple of days in perimenopause and stuff, far out. That lasts for about 10 years before a woman gets in. And that stuff, if they're insulin resistant or they're not getting enough sleep and stuff, and if you're not getting enough sleep, your body can't do what it needs to do. You can't lose weight. So I totally agree with the calorie deficit thing, but I do find with some females, because when they become mums and then when they get into their 30s and 40s, their life is looking after everyone else, career-wise, powerful jobs, they have lost who they are, they don't know. So like, I agree with you, mindset, but weight loss is a package.
Yeah, correct.
It's like, what else are you doing in your life? Like, yes, let's look at what's going into your body, but how are you feeling? How are you sleeping? What are the thoughts running through your head? What is your cycle like? What is, like, there's so many different layers.
Yeah. That goes back to the first thing I said, was like, sometimes the weight you need to lose is not on your body. It's in your brain. It's in your mindset. So totally agree with what you're saying. And everybody's different too. So you can't package everything for one person. We've got clients that we've saved from having to have gastric surgery, and just by helping them maintain a nutritious diet. Like, we're not reinventing anything. We're just cutting out all the bro science, all the bullshit, all the stuff that they're making billions of dollars off, when it's just a simple process. It's all it is a simple process. So, yeah, but going back to what you said, if you want to lose weight off your body, calorie deficit. If you want to lose weight off your brain and your mindset, well, that's a hell of a lot harder than just eating nutritious food.
Yeah, yeah. What do you think it looks like to be healthy and happy?
What I look in the mirror every day and see is myself. That's what I think happiness is and healthiness is. Having a body that you like to look at brings confidence. I don't know if it brings happiness, because you're always going to be critical of your body, regardless. Mel Robbins is probably one of the best in her sayings about things like that. And she talks about the high five in the mirror.
Yeah.
every morning. I don't know if you heard that one, but it resonates with me a lot, because when you wake up and you look at yourself in the mirror, all you're doing is picking your teeth, judging your belly rolls, wishing you had a body of an Adonis, or, whatever's you're liking. You're not actually looking at yourself and going, fuck, I'm 43 years old. I've gone through some shit in my life, and I'm raising a beautiful family. I've got an awesome partner that supports me in everything I do. I have a great, job that I'm helping people with, and I'm happy with who I am. And that's the person that I see every day. Like, I'm still judge myself and everything. Like this morning, I was looking, going, Jesus, I think I've put on a bit of weight because I had an injury and I haven't been training as hard. And I'm like, yeah, I probably have, because I'm eating extra calories, but I'll burn that off pretty quickly. So I went straight back and looked for the positive, instead of dwelling on, oh God, I've got to do this now. I've got to cut calories back. Oh, I've got to do this now. I've got to retrain this. No, that's
Mm.
part of life. I'm 43 years old. I'm not 20. I can't recover in an instant. I can't play 5 games of soccer on the weekend, get up and go have drinks with the mates, and wake up at 6 o'clock and go to work on Monday. It doesn't work that way anymore. I've got to
But
adapt to who I am.
you feel like you're still 20? Because I do.
I do.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I
the
do.
thing. Yeah. We
Yeah.
still feel like I feel like I'm maybe late 20s or something. So,
Yeah.
and I behave that way as well. I don't, I
Yeah,
don't,
I'm still definitely a child. I ask my wife, and sometimes I just get the shake of the head all the time. And I train with a lot of younger people too. So I've got like a lot of elite athletes that I train with, and it's like you can't, um, you have to be at that level with them, and to feel like, well, I'm 43 and I'm still training like those guys. Yeah, okay, I'll take that. That's happiness. It's pretty
yeah.
cool.
And the cool thing about muscle mass and too in our bodies is as we get older, our muscle is like, yeah, it's like that's a benefit of getting older is
Yeah.
your muscles can be a lot better and a lot defined and grow and that's cool about being mature.
Definitely. And weight training helps. Obviously, the older we get, we want stronger bones and stronger muscles, and we don't want to be hunched over. And, I still want to be the 70-year-old dude that people go, what do you like? How do you do it? That's my goal. I would love to just be that guy that everyone looks and goes, how is he still doing that? It's because I love it.
Yeah. Yeah. You
Absolutely
know
love
what it
it. So,
feels like not to feel like that. I think a lot of people out there don't know what it feels like to feel good. And a lot of people when they get, especially in their 40s, like, no, I'm a bit achy, or like the amount of people that I see, I don't know about you, that have digestive issues and
mm,
bloating gut issues or have period pain and stuff. I'm like, guys, this is not normal.
yeah.
But they just brush it off and like, oh, it's my age, or I've always had it and I can't be bothered. And it's like that worries me a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. It's training the brain, and having the right people in your corner to help you out and give you the right knowledge. I think that's part and parcel of everything. And I think we've got to stop looking at our body as, you know, as skin out the front and how it looks. The body's the vessel that carries your mind, it carries your muscles, it carries your skeleton, your organs, it carries everything. The body's in the entire thing. It's not just what everybody looks at. I've got one big ear, and I've got teeth I can't get straight because of how I was born. But that's just me. I embrace that.
But you know that beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So a lot of us, we all look different. We all are different. And that's the cool thing about it. But we all want to look a certain way. We all want to be the same. So it's kind of blows my mind that when I have clients that come in and we always see what we can't see in ourselves. So, you see people and you talk to them and when they are open and they share their things, you look at them and go, oh, I didn't even notice.
Yeah,
Or you look so good, I wish I was like you. And it's sometimes a bit jarring to hear, huh? What? Someone
yeah,
thinks that about me or about you that you don't think of yourself.
yeah. Yeah, well, and having the right people, again, like your vibe attracts your tribe. So I'm very lucky that Jace, who heads the BBA, who I work with, he was the catalyst for me, of leaving my old career and moving into this, because him and I work really well together. We're the two male head coaches, and he picks up on every time I'm very critical of myself, and especially if it's a physical attribute. So, like, I'm not a fan of being on camera because I know my teeth are crooked and my ear sticks out. and I always turn to the left because that's my good side, and ask wifey in the photos, she knows to go to the right hand side. It's just, it's been years, 43 years of me not liking that part of my body, but having someone that pulls you up on that and goes, dude, look at what you do for people. It's not about that. It's about you in its entirety. And having someone like that every day that can push you along and keep you, focused on your authenticity in the whole, it's amazing.
And most people don't even notice the stuff that we're so self-conscious of because everyone else is too much in their head.
Yeah.
So we think people are looking at us and looking at our faults, and we all have them. All of us are self-conscious about certain things, and you just think, oh my God, and then people don't even notice. Or, you know what I mean? They're just, everyone's too focused in their life, on their stuff, on their shit that's going on.
Yeah, exactly right. And I'm pretty lucky. I'm punching above my weight too with my wife, so something must be going on.
Oh,
I'm charming, apparently.
didn't you say that you're George Clooney's love child in the beginning?
That's self-proclaimed, though.
Oh, hey, take that one.
Confidence breeds confidence, mate.
Yeah, it sure does.
Yeah.
Before we move on to a couple of other questions I've got here, just that mirror work. I think next time, if you're listening to this and you're brushing your teeth or you're flossing or you're washing your face, stop and look at yourself in the mirror. And you can't actually, it's very how you start doing this stuff, actually looking at eyeballing yourself in the mirror, and you'll have all these negative thoughts going through your head. There's a couple of things you can do. I have post-it notes on my mirror. And to be honest, I haven't read them for a while, but they've been sitting up there. I go through stages where I'm like, oh yeah, whoops, okay, I've got to read my things, and I do. It's all about rewiring your brain and changing your mindset. But a lot of the time when we're brushing our teeth, we never stop and say one nice thing about yourself.
Yep, exactly.
People, you may cry, you may have to close your eyes, stand in front of the mirror, but close your eyes and do it to start with. Anything when you're changing your mindset, anything when you're changing your body, anything when you're changing your lifestyle, I find it's a practice. It's consistency, but it's a practice. You're never going to be perfect. And you may have a day where you eat the whole bag of chips. Oh, well, you know what? Really, in the big scheme of things, who gives a shit? If you're self-aware, okay, what happened that day that made you do it? Okay, cool. Well, guess what? Let's put a plan into place, but you're human. Tomorrow's a fresh day.
Yeah.
But we tend to just be so negative and, oh my God, I'm so broken. I've stuffed everything up. Oh, well, I'm off now. And then you just go for like 2 weeks, which is then 6 months, which is a year. And then they come knocking on our door again going, oh, hey, can I have your help again?
And I'll say that about that word perfectionism or perfect. I'm going to go to the Oxford Dictionary and get them to strike it out of there, because it's an unattainable place in life. And that saying that practice makes perfect is a whole lot of shit. It's practice makes permanent. That's what I've always lived by. So we've got to get that word perfectionism out of our brain. I tell my clients in a couple of things like this is that don't strive for perfectionism, strive for greatness. Greatness is achievable in everything, but perfectionism is just that thing that will never be achievable and you'll never get there.
Oh, that's a really good take. I really like that one.
Yeah.
So if anyone's listening and they want to start a transformation, whatever that, I'm just going to say that word transformation because that can look different for many different people in different ways. How do people start?
I think the first thing you need to do is find your why. Why is it? Because you're depressed, anxious, overweight? There's millions of different reasons why people want to start a transformation. It's not just has to do with losing weight. I think it's highly publicized that transformation means weight loss, but it's not. As I said before, it's 80% mindset. This is my opinion: 80% mindset, 20% weight loss, because weight loss is like the byproduct of a transformation in my eyes. So finding your why, and then you've also got to want to do it. So we can't make anybody do anything. You've got to want to do it, and that's by putting your hand up and asking the question, I need help. And with whatever format that is, whether it's weight loss, whether it's mindset, whether it's psychological, I need help. and it's not like vulnerability is a superpower. I think that's probably the next thing. Being vulnerable is a superpower. It's one of the most untapped resources human beings can that's on hand 24 hours a day. We're born vulnerable, and I think it's when we get to our teens, for some reason, it just gets lost because fear comes into play, and we're worried about everything, and we don't use that superpower enough, because the more vulnerable you are to people, they get to see the real you, and they'll probably relate to you a lot more. So, put your hand up, ask for help, get vulnerable. Um, I think surrounding yourself with like-minded people will help in that sort of aspect. You can't do a transformation by yourself. Nobody in this world has done anything without somebody guiding them. Tiger Woods was the best golfer in the world because he had a coach. You know, anybody that's good at anything has had somebody along the way that has given them the right direction. And it doesn't mean they've told them what to do, they've showed them what to do. We say to our clients, we're the guide and you're the adventurer. So we can only show you where to go so far, and then you have to take the rest of that journey.
Mm. Yeah, there's a couple of things there that I want to kind of expand on. Vulnerability.
Yep.
So personally, I'm not a shy person, but I don't like people knowing my business. So for a really long time, I'm very private. I don't like anyone seeing me or knowing anything about me. So yeah, having my business and what I do now is a big vulnerability, because I find majority of my clients come to me because I'm so honest. And they're like, oh my God, how can you say that stuff? And sometimes I think, oh, I really don't know. Like, I really want to just crawl into the hole and just go get another corporate job and not have to do this stuff. But that's not my purpose. That's not why I'm here. And so I have to push through that vulnerability sometimes. And you did mention earlier that when you started to do the mindset journey for yourself, you went and saw a couple of psychs and they weren't your people.
Yeah.
Me too. I've had a lot of coaches, a lot of all sorts. I've paid so much money on courses and coaches and therapy and whatever. And it does take a while to find your person. And then sometimes you think you've got your person and you're like, nah, they're not mine. And it's okay. I think you've just got to, it's a lifelong journey, as in, I hate that word journey, but it's lifelong learning, lifelong doing the thing, being consistent. It never stops.
Yeah.
And it's okay that if you just keep going until you find your people, you know?
Yeah. And what was I saying I heard the other day? The person that loves walking will walk further than the person that just loves the destination. So
yeah,
you can pick up a lot from just that little words, is that it's not, it's like you said, it's a lifetime of everything. You can't just sit there and worry about the end goal. You've got to enjoy every little 1% that happens along the way. Those little things that happen in life are so big that you don't realize until it's too late. So you've got to step aside and look at the view and smell everything and taste everything and enjoy everything, and find those people in your life that matter, and tell them that you love them every single day. Like, love is one of those words that's just not used enough and in the right context. And it's okay to love the person that you're with, your partner. That's a different kind of love than just loving somebody that, like yourself. Like, I think you're a great person. I actually love the shit out of you, Barbs, because I think you're great and you have the same values as me. So that there's nothing wrong with loving somebody else. Like, I think that's another word that's misused a lot these days.
Yeah, I think I absolutely agree with you. And we're all talking about being little people in the beginning. We all want love.
Yeah.
We all want acceptance. We all want validation. We all want certainty. That's one thing too that's interesting. When you talk about transformation, mindset, weight loss, we all want certainty. And guess what? Nothing's certain. We don't know. Once you drop that, and once you drop this expectation of the all or nothing, and especially with weight loss, it's like good food, bad food. Oh, I can't have enjoyment. Yes, you can. I'm a really big believer in writing everything down. Because that is like a feedback system. So, and writing things down with no attachment. There's no good or bad. There's no rules, but and it goes in levels. So if I was to give this to my client now, they'd freak out and walk out the door, because people just, even we all want the easy way, right? Let's just be really honest for a second. but it's like, how much sleep, how did you feel in the morning, what's your bowel movements like, what's your cycle like, how much water have you had, and what's your anxiety levels, what supplements are you taking, what food are you having, what stretches are you doing, what movement are you doing, what meditation, like that's what we all need to survive. But when people look at it on paper, they go, whoa, I'm checking out, see ya. And I'm sure that was just off the top of my head. And you don't do everything all the time, but you do things most of the time, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of us are just really, if you haven't done this work or you haven't had a personal interest in this before, especially with health, you need to be your own advocate, especially now. What I'm finding with a lot of my guests, a lot of my clients is people go to medical professionals for help, but they don't get the answers, or they don't feel it's right, or they take all these pills and it doesn't fix anything. And what I'm trying to educate people and teach people is you are your own boss of your own life. Something doesn't feel right, you keep going. But
exactly, that's perfect.
It's like the nutrition stuff that I'm doing now and courses I do. It's like, why don't you learn the stuff yourself? It's actually not rocket science. And why don't you just learn a few tools so you can stop spending all this money. You can stop living in this cycle or this thing that, okay, I'll start on Monday. Okay, I'll find this person. I'll do this challenge and I'll do this and I'll do this. All of this stuff works, but we don't stick to it for a long time. But we just want that quick fix. So I think, well, why don't you take matters into your own hands? Why don't you start talking to people, start reaching out to some coaches, start talking to people just that you like and that you think you can resonate with, and learn stuff for yourself.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think, and that's one of the things that we pride ourselves in what we do is we just want to teach people the basics really, really well so they can go and live their life. You know, if they want to stay with us, that's fantastic. If they want to go and move on and do it themselves, great. But we want them to have those tools that are simple and easy to use in everyday life that they can go away and just do by themselves and be comfortable in knowing that you can eat ice cream, you can have chocolates, you can have whatever the hell you want, as long as you fit it into your nutrition plan, however you want to eat, whatever calories you're on per day, whatever suits your lifestyle. Why can't you have that enjoyment in life? You know, life's too short to sit there and worry about eating tuna, rice and beans, or, you know, chicken and rice and broccoli all the time. We have pizza Sundays, we have cheeseburgers, we have fish tacos on the menu. Like, things like that are just, why do you want to miss out on those things? Why? It doesn't get me, because they're not educated on the fact that you can read a label and work out that, oh Jesus, there's a Passiona drink out now that's 6 calories and the other one's 190. Why would I drink one, like a whole bag of sugar, when I got no sugar? Like, simple things.
And one thing I find about, I think there's a place for intuitive eating, especially for people that have dieted for such a long time, and like myself, that were restricted for so long, which actually breeds binge eating. So when you can't have something for a long time, it's really forbidden. And then when you have it, you are not mindful when you're eating it, and you checked out, and you can eat way more than what you ever should, right? And I think some of my clients, ideally I'd like to do it for a week, but they do it for 3 or 4 days, where I say to them, okay, this is your homework. I want you, and I did this first, so everything I share with people, I try and do it myself. So I went to the supermarket, and I do this with my clients, and I say, get anything you want. Normally it's for a week, but they freak out. So I'm like, okay, let's do 3 days. And like, are you serious? I'm like, there's a method to my madness. So they go to the supermarket, they can have whatever they want, whenever they want, buy whatever, no rules. So, and even me doing this exercise on myself, I was like a little kid. I'd go, oh, the biscuits, the chocolate, the chippies, the cereal, because I couldn't remember the last time I had cereal. Whoa.
Yeah, wow.
So I would just buy, because I was and it was my choice, and I wouldn't take it back. But, you know, simple things like cornflakes or Cocoa Pops or whatever, I'd be like, oh, getting a box of them, getting some chocolates, getting some lollies, getting whatever, bread. And the thing is, you eat whatever you want when you want for that, say, 3 days. So you start off having bread with butter, or you have a pie, or you have, like we all have it, whatever thing it is, right? Yeah. After day 2, you start to, you know, or even day 1, you'll get a funny tummy, you'll be sitting on the toilet a lot, you'll get headaches. Day 3, by day 3 or day 4, you're actually like, yeah, yeah, I'm not enjoying this anymore. I think I want some, and it really freaks my clients out because they're like, I never crave vegetables, Barbara,
Yeah.
but I was actually craving some meat and vegetables or something green. And I'm
Yeah.
like, well, what does that tell you?
Mhm.
But by doing that exercise, if you know that nothing's forbidden, you can have whatever you want when you want. Give yourself permission to go wild. You're not going to put on all your weight in 2 or 3 days. It'll be
No.
fluid, and yeah, it's not great for your gut, not great for your mental health and stuff as well. But it's an exercise to show that through all that stuff, your body actually goes, oh, I really want something green, or I really want some fruit, or I really want something crispy like a cucumber, or like people will say this to me, and
Yeah.
I'll be like, oh, it was fun, but I don't want it. And then they can see food in a different way. They kind of go, oh, why did I put it up on a pedestal? Why did
Yeah.
I think it was like my life's over because I
Because
can't?
it's the most marketed shit on the planet, and that's what's drummed in our head every single day. And you don't realize how potent some of those processed foods are. It's
And
crazy.
And the thing is, with their processed foods, a lot of the time, especially the cereals or the muesli bars and stuff, I say to my clients, they pay people thousands of dollars and scientists, and they write all these bullshit journals that everything is constructed in a petri dish to make your taste buds go when you walk down that aisle and your mouth salivas,
Yeah.
or you have one and then you eat the whole box. It's actually not your fault.
Correct.
You're not a pig. It's actually the bliss spot. It's actually been scientifically developed for you to have to, when you open the whole bag of chips,
Yeah.
like me, I'll eat that. There's no way. If
Oh,
I
I'm
open
the
a bag
same.
of chips, it's gone.
Nacho cheese, CC's or whatever. That's me done.
Yeah,
I'll eat that with guacamole, whatever's in front. I'm a
yeah,
real savory nut. So that's probably my kryptonite.
yeah, yeah. Mine's starting to go towards like nacho chips, which is interesting because I was always savory. I mean, sweet,
Yeah.
chocolate and stuff. And it used to be lollies as a kid and then
Mm.
chocolate. But when you take that away, and when you realize that all the food that's in the packet, start reading the ingredients, start educating yourself,
Mm.
you're actually not eating food. So when you look at the ingredients, why you're hungry all the time and why you're craving shit all the time, if you look at the ingredients, you're eating shit. So if you're going to eat shit, you feel like shit and you want more shit.
Mm.
But
And
people,
it's called fast food because it goes in fast, it digests fast, and it goes out even faster. And you're not getting any benefits from it. And you feel so empty after an hour. You go and eat more shit. And then
yeah,
all the crap's inside your body is not getting taken out quick enough, and it's getting ingested. And all of a sudden you're back to the misery and waking up the next day with cramps. And, with myself, like when I started eating a lot more nutritious, I didn't realize that milk affected me so much. And I grew up on drinking liters and liters of milk every day. It was like, yeah, it protects your bones. And yeah, great. But as soon as I hadn't had it for, I reckon, 3 years, and I notice now if I accidentally get a coffee that's got milk in it and I'll drink it, and I know straight away, holy shit, that was bad. Big mistake. Because I love black coffee, but sometimes, you just want a flat white or something. If I
yeah,
don't order skim milk or almond milk or something different, and I just let it go, oh man, I didn't realize that milk affected me that way. And even certain types of pizzas that have got pepperonis, and I didn't realize that because I grew up on that stuff. And God bless my mum, she didn't know nutritious food. She just slopped whatever we could afford on a plate, and it was usually you know mashed potato full of everything, and wasn't really nutritious. It filled us, and we didn't go without. But like, that's what I grew up with. And to bring that through later in life, and you don't realize, and all of a sudden you start eating well, eating to your body, giving it fuel. Because doing endurance stuff, I need to eat the right foods
yeah.
for fueling myself. So now I'm pretty good. I know what I need to eat, 2-3 days out before I do my big runs and rides. But if I muck that up, I've got fear of the mid-run poop or something like that. So
Yeah.
it's strategic, but you don't
Any
realize.
endurance athlete, yeah, they cup it and throw it. Like there's so many.
Just let it dribble.
Yeah, yeah. And every athlete has a story. Everyone has a running poo story. Everyone has yeah. I was the same, but with fat burners. So
Oh,
in bodybuilding, in the not early, whenever it was, when I was doing it, and they were the stuff that's illegal now.
Jack 3D, all that stuff.
And I would always, typical Barbs, take way too oh, I'm good.
There's
I'll
one
take
scoop,
it.
3.
Yeah. Even my guy mates used to be even my professional bodybuilder guys that would just double my size would look at me and go, I can't even do a scoop. How do you do a scoop? And I used to think I was so hard nuts. But I tell you what, when we'd go on big walks, there's a few times where I was like,
Yeah.
oh my God.
It's not good.
We all have stories, right?
Yeah, 100%.
And quickly before we go, one thing I want to share about nutrition is there's a really big, you know how people say, oh, my grandmother ate it, the older generation, I had this in my day, we're fine. Parents, yes, I had this, so you'll be fine. There is, in the 80s, especially in the 80s, gluten and stuff was, the way it was formed was a great way. It wasn't full of chemicals and pesticides. Then in the mid 80s to late 80s, that's when all the farming and all our food and all our preservatives changed. You notice that the obesity levels in people's structure of the bodies from the 80s changed. And that was because of what's in our food and what's in our how gluten is made and how food is made. And that's a really big thing too. So if anyone says, oh, it was fine in my day, most of the time it was, because it was, the flour and stuff wasn't sprayed by glyphosate, which is Roundup and stuff. So people, I really want them to educate themselves to know what's going in their bodies and knowing why everyone has all these gut disruptions. And guess what? Your brain and your gut are connected. So if you've got gut disruptions, you're going to have anxiety or depression, or you're going to have brain fog as minimum. So
gut health is important.
Yeah, it's just, that's a whole nother a whole nother topic. But I think we'll wrap things up, because I think that was just a really good place to kind of end things. But is there anything else on a final note, anything you want to share with people that are listening to this that may not be happy with their bodies, want to get healthy, just don't know where to start?
I think we'll go back, segue back to the first thing we talked about is fear. Everyone acts out of fear or out of love, and fear is one of those things that stops us from doing absolutely anything in our life. And if you can face the fear, get uncomfortable, ask for help, and realize that life's too short to sit back and just be that misery that you think you are and know you are, and don't want to admit to yourself that you are, and take off that mask of expectation and be your authentic self. You just do what I did and just become an abundance of awesomeness, and just love life and the people that are in it, and what you're doing and the impact on your world. I don't want to leave it's like legacy to me. My legacy is I just want to leave this world and know that people would say that, Jesus, that guy he did everything he could to be the person that he was, and he was a great guy. And that's just, I think, how everybody needs to live their life if they can. Just remember, your fear is full of shit. You just really need to get over it. Whatever size of that fear is, take that first step and do whatever it is you need to do to become a healthier, happier person.
And fear never goes away, does it? It just pops up in another way. It will look different.
Correct. It's just full of shit. Move on.
That's get some t-shirts printed. Fear
is full of shit. I like it.
Let's do some collab t-shirts.
Done. We're gonna do a new hashtag. Fear is full of shit.
Yeah. I like that one a lot. So if anyone's listening and they, I know there's a lot of people that really enjoy hearing your story, can really resonate with you. How can people find you, Mike?
Best places is Facebook or Instagram. Mike Ilias Mentor is my tagline on Instagram, and on Facebook it's just my name, Mike Ilias, as well. Or you can search the Better Body Academy online.
Yeah, cool. Have you got any do you do transformation intakes? Do you have anything that's coming up? Or
yeah, we do. We do all round. We have we call it our base camp, which is a 6 months transformation. It's where you start, because I don't believe in doing too many challenges. I think it's more of a life adjustment. more than anything. So we do challenges inside our group, but yeah, so our base kind of camp is a 6-month program, and then we offer we do a mastermind for mindset training. We've got an elite membership, things like that. So yeah, we take him anytime around. It's coming up for Mother's Day as well. Might be good to shout your mum.
Yeah. Oh, but just be careful how you do it though, right?
Yeah, correct. Hey, mum, lose some weight.
Yeah, join this thing. But no, it's love, and our health is our wealth. And if we don't have our health, and that doesn't mean our bodies and how they look or how we weigh or whatever, it can be your mindset, but it's the full mind-body connection, I think. And that's what you do with your looking at your beautiful branding is the 4 pillars. So what are the 4 pillars?
Nutrition, training, mindset, and lifestyle.
See? Yeah. So thank you so much for joining me today on the podcast.
It's been a pleasure, mate. Absolute pleasure.
Yeah, I know a lot of people, weight loss, mindset, fear, everyone, this podcast is going to resonate with everyone. So I know that they're going to enjoy it. So
I hope so.
Yeah, they definitely will.
Awesome.
Yeah, thanks so much for joining me, and I'm sure we'll talk soon.
Thank you.
Thanks. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed today's episode and it has inspired you on your self-care journey. Please feel free to share this with a friend and subscribe over on Apple Podcast. I really love hearing your feedback. So guys, please feel free to write a review on Apple and let me know which part of this episode resonated with you the most. To fall in love with yourself is the first secret to happiness. To find out a bit more about Self-Care Studio or the Studio Chat podcast, head over to my Instagram page, self_care_studio, or on my website, selfcarebybarbarathomson.com.au. Really look forward to seeing you on the next episode. Look after you, and I'll catch you soon. Bye!